You're listening to the Cars of Carlisle Network, podcast episode number 113, featuring the 2020 Carlisle Chevrolet Nationals Car Show. This is your podcast. Together, it's all about car community, car culture.
Cars of Carlisle is your favorite internationally downloaded podcast about all things automotive. Darren and his CFC team are ever searching for interesting automotive happenings, real stories about real car people, and fun features to inform and entertain you. Each week, the Cars of Carlisle crew brings you show topics ranging from car shows to team adventures to auto racing weekends to behind-the-scenes human interest stories from car nuts that live across town, across the country, or even across the globe. Come join the road trip.
Today we recount our weekend at the 2020 Carlisle Chevrolet Nationals. Join us as we celebrate all things General Motors at the world-famous Carlisle Fairgrounds. Turning 50 this year are Monte Carlo and the LS6 Big Block, 454 cubic inches of wrap motor combustion. It's time to turn back the clock to the year 1970 while sharing some sweet sound bites of exhaust growls and the thunder of Bruce Larson's nitrous-breathing quarter-mile monster. So, let's get revved up!
Hello and welcome back, Cubers, to your favorite informative automotive podcast. I am your trusted host, Darren. In a few minutes, we're going to be talking to Mike Garland, the Public Relations Manager at Carlisle Events, and get their perspective on this last weekend show. I'd like to send a warm hello out to two great car guys that I met over at the Car Corral at the Chevrolet Nationals this weekend. Both had 55s at the show. First spent some time with Ray and his beautiful Harvest Gold 1955 Corvette with only 15,000 miles on the odometer. It was in amazing shape. Next, I walked a couple dozen yards over to a car that I would love to have in my garage someday, a 55 Chevy 210 Pro Street with a 502 big block, a 9-inch Ford rear with 4-link. It was gorgeous. Black exterior over black interior with roll cage. It was all business. Really enjoyed speaking with Rob, who was at the time selling it as part of an estate sale. So let's go to the call now with Mike Garland and hear what his thoughts were on the show this past weekend.
Another week, another car show, Darren. Man, it was a crazy one at Carlisle this time, but a different kind of crazy compared to what we just experienced with Spring Carlisle. So we had the Chevrolet Nationals. It was Friday and Saturday, and a two-day show goes real quick. But we had about 700 cars, and everybody that came really had a good time. I certainly think people are still apprehensive on wanting to come out to an entertainment-based event because of everything that's going on. But again, if you choose to come, that's awesome. We've taken the precautions and the measures that we think will help keep you safe, and there's plenty of social distancing involved. We had just a great selection of cars and decades worth of GM branded history as well. Somebody brought a C8 to the show, which was really cool. So we got to see the present Corvette model, since it's now available for consumers, and we had a nice display indoors as well. So just a really cool Chevrolet Nationals weekend, and we're looking forward to doing it again next year in June. So what's next for Carlisle? So our team is going to get a much-deserved 3-day weekend coming up with 4th of July, and then we turn our attentions to the Carlisle Chrysler Nationals. This is another show that's really, really big for us, and it's a show that has remained on its originally scheduled date, so we're expecting a lot of good things. If someone wants to buy tickets right now for the show, you can do it at a 25% discount through the Monday of show week. So if you want to save 25% on your spectator tickets, you can get them now through the Monday of show week at carlisletickets.com. You can also go to carlisleevents.com to learn all about the event, including the kickoff party, which takes place at the Carlisle Expo Center on July 9th, I believe, Thursday the 9th. And then we have July 10th, 11th, and 12th as our show dates for the Carlisle Chrysler Nationals. So learn all about it at carlisleevents.com, and we can't wait to see you out at the show.
Thank you, Mike. Wanted to also say, too, we have just recently set up a PayPal, so if you would like to support Cars of Carlisle so we can continue to do great work for you, traveling, interviewing new and exciting car owners, trying to bring you better and more dynamic content, that would help us in a big way. So certainly go to paypal.me/Cars of Carlisle. Would definitely appreciate any help that you can give us. Donations are always welcome, and this is your podcast. Help us grow that for you. And before we hear from Scott and myself, we had done a wrap-up right after we got back to the studio on Saturday. We came right off the fairgrounds, and while things were fresh, we went into the studio and recorded some things. So you're going to hear about that in a minute or so. But I'm going to ask you this week's trivia question, paying homage to the Monte Carlo, which turned 50 this year, and then immediately give you the answer to the trivia question so that they're right together, because in the wrap-up that Scott and I do, we take it right on out to the outro, and we'll send you off to the rest of your week. And looking forward to having you come back next week, as you always do. You being part of this show means so much. We greatly appreciate the ongoing support and all that you do as far as sharing, rating, reviewing, and subscribing, and making sure that you have that queue up each and every week without having to go out and physically download. That all helps. It drives up the search engine optimization, allows us to be more easily found by new fans. And thank you so much. You guys are what drive this show. Okay, trivia question. Beginning with its first year in production, the Chevy Monte Carlo had a unique styling feature, commonly referred to as the Knight's Crest. Where on the Monte would you find that? And the answer is this. The Knight's Crest, or the Corinthian helmet, is found in the first generation Monte Carlo's chromed rectangular grille, which is comprised of 720 small squares. So I was personally fortunate enough to go to the Chevrolet Nationals on both days, last Friday and Saturday. Next is what Scott and I recorded once we got back to the studio. In it, you'll hear some great engine sounds from the show field. So let's go to that, and can't wait to have you come back next week. So Scott, we're just back to Studio A from spending the morning, this is Saturday now, over at the Chevrolet Nationals. Any thoughts? Any wrap-up thoughts?
Beautiful morning, hot as Hades, but it was really, really nice. Yeah, it was great.
I always like hearing, of course, Bruce Larson with the Nitro Fest.
Everybody rushes to go over, and then everybody immediately jams their fingers in their ears because it is so
Well, then your
loud.
eyes start to tear from, oh my gosh.
You can feel it happening before you hear the noise. It's great.
That was always a highlight. And Bruce does a great job each and every year coming and bringing his equipment to the show, the USA one, and just the fact that younger generations can experience just the visceral excitement behind some of those, the incredible nitrous engines.
And everybody looks forward to it. I mean, it draws in the people as soon as it starts with the sounds, and it's good. And that's another thing I did notice. It was really nice to see the amount of people that were out. It was, obviously a lot lighter than normal, but it was good to see people communing again. But everybody was keeping their distances with things. I noticed a lot of the staff was really diligent with, keeping things wiped off as soon as somebody would walk away from a bench or a table or something.
Yep.
So it was neat to see. It was good to be back kind of out there on the field, seeing stuff happen.
From like we said, from Bruce's NHRA drag car, I mean the USA one funny car. They had again this year with the Young Guns, which is for those in the hobby 25 or younger. Really important just to have that, particularly the 16 to 25 segment covered and get them excited about things. They had the Nova Nationals at Chevrolet Nationals, so this year with National Nostalgic Nova Club was there. Saw some amazing Yenkos and just, rare cars.
It was a great grouping of cars that were, especially inside in a couple of the main show buildings. They were spectacular.
Yeah. Well, even we walked over by the car corral and met Rob, who is selling through an estate sale. What I would
that one drew your personal interest.
Well, yeah, my personal. That is the car that I would have taken home. It had a price tag of $42,000. Shout out to Rob if you're listening this week. But it was a all blacked out 55 210 with a big block, and it was amazing. In fact, we'll insert a sound bite here next.
Mm-hmm.
We then went to pass by the exhaust competition, which is the rolling exhaust. It's really cool. That's the first year.
Great.
Yeah, the first year that they actually introduced it to the Chevrolet show. Has some great sounds. In fact, we're gonna plug those up next.
That's always a good showing over there too. Mm-hmm. You know, people kind of flock to that area to see.
A couple female drivers, which was really great to see as well.
It was good.
Yeah, and then just the fact that a lot of what they were doing this time, trying to support Project Share. For those who aren't familiar, that's essentially our soup kitchen, our food pantry in the Carlisle area.
And United Way.
And the United Way. So good that there's some outreach with that, and particularly because everyone's been through a lot the last several months, and some are really struggling out there. But that was great. The fact of also, 1970, big year, celebrating 50.
Everybody's turning 50 this year, Cars and Darren.
But the LS6 454, it hit the 50th anniversary mark, and also gold anniversary for the Monte Carlo, which is pretty fun too. So
is the 454 a rat engine or a mouse engine?
Oh, that would be a rat engine.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
And a small block is the mouse.
It's the mouse. Okay,
yes.
Got it.
And then, actually, you were telling me you learned a little bit about the fact that they were calling the Hemi the elephant.
Yeah, that's what I wondered why there was mouse and rat and that kind of. And then there's a mini mouse, but I forget what that was, or mini rat.
Mini rat, which is under 500 cubic inch.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Minnie Mouse obviously is Mickey's girlfriend, but what I meant to say was a mini rat. Okay, got it.
Right. And then also today, Saturday at the show, was TV personality and host Courtney Hansen. She was there. You may know her from Power Block and Overhauling.
Yeah, Power Block and Overhauling with Courtney Hansen.
And as far as Power Block is on Spike TV, but she's been part of several shows like Auto Week's Vincetta Garage, Power Nation, etc.
$1 Million Motors.
Yep. So she was there. She was doing a Q&A and then some autograph sessions and some other things too. So that was all cool. But no, really good to see people back out. And you even made the comment, Scott, that as we walk the fairgrounds, nice to see people congregating. People were respectful, keeping their 6-foot distance and some things. But how long has it been since you've seen that many people pretty much in a common space? It's not...
And people need it. They're looking forward to it. And, just talking with some of the people that were there with their own cars just to show or... even who was the person that you ran into with the yellow Corvette?
Ray. Yeah, with the 55 Corvette, gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, he was just so happy to be there and to show his car, and it was great.
Yeah, exactly. And he had selling it over the auto crowd. It had 15,000 original miles on it. I think he wanted 114,000. But what a beautiful vehicle! Had it fully documented. And we'll put some pictures out on Instagram, And a really neat guy. Just took the time to show us around and very proud of it, which was great. That was really good to see. And a big congrats and tipping of the hat to the Carlisle events team. A lot of posted signs and even just like in the bathrooms and over by the food area and the vendors themselves. It's everybody doing a good job doing their part.
And I was impressed with the food area. Went over to get some of the lemonade things, and as soon as somebody was standing up, there was a staff member there spraying and wiping everything down.
Yep.
It looked like they had even more staff involved. So everybody was really diligent about it. They're taking it seriously and still going about the business. And I think it's a smart meshing of making things happen.
I agree. As Scott noted, as we're coming back from the fairgrounds, our last couple shows, and those of you that are following and listening each and every week, a big thank you to you. The past couple, we've gone a little over our standard. We're pushing an hour plus, hour and 15, hour and 19 minutes. So we've had some great content, some great things, but we figured let's make this one more bite-sized. So this is definitely going to be a shorter episode. But as we go into the Carlisle event season, we're going to try and get to each and every one of the shows. We'll have some highlights. And we'll continue to keep you guys informed of what's happening with that, talking to Mike Garland. You have it directly from the voice of Carlisle Events, what's happening there day by day, week by week, so you can make your plans as you travel to central Pennsylvania.
And hopefully we'll get a burnout on the next one.
I know. There's nothing like that. It's so much fun.
Talk about eye burning. And
or tire burning.
Yeah, and lung killing. But yeah, those are great.
Other than that, it's all great.
Aside from taking your health really at the very last minute there, it's all good. I love it.
So for now, we'll say drive well,
be well,
take care.